Okay, so the plan is to take these little bus bars here, which I have salvaged out of a piece of electrical wiring, and actually put them in these grooves here. One's going to be positive for the LEDs and one is going to be negative like that, and I will glue them in there, you know, with hot glue or something like that, so that they will only come out after they have been put in there. And I have already crimped on a few little spade lugs which I'm going to use. One is male, one's female, so they can't be swapped around in future if I ever want to disconnect it. We're going to have to solder on a couple of pieces of wire onto the switch there, and I have drawn some little lines in there 4 centimeters apart for the 6 LED strips. They're going to be in there, you know, like that. And that's what we'll be working on next. So the first thing I'm going to do is to turn on the soldering iron again, and we could use stuff aside. So we are actually working on these two outputs here, LED plus and LED minus. That's what these two bus bars are going to be for, and they're going to be connected to the LEDs plus and minus 6 strips. So I crimped on these little connectors, but they are liable to come off because it is solid copper wire. It's not stranded wire at all. So for good measure, to be doubly sure that stuff's going to stick together, I'm going to apply a little bit of solder to them. There we go. Put this aside for now. I think a little bit of flux there would be in order, because that wire is kind of old. It's probably got some corrosion on it. It's been around for a while. There we go. This is just MG Chemicals rosin flux, which is good for this kind of stuff. Don't need to use the fancy flux that you use on PCBs with SMD components. Oh. Okay, where's the solder? Here it is. Oh, I'll shed some more light on it so that I can see what I'm doing. I think I can use actually a little bit less light than that. Yeah, that's better. We'll do that one. Okay, that should do that one. Well, I think the first thing we'll do is we'll crimp on these little spade lugs. Looks good. I shouldn't have to solder these, although I'm kind of tempted to, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, next one. Also good, I think. Alright, put this aside. Strip off a little bit of shielding enough to solder. Okay, well, since I have this thing sitting here, I might as well use it. Okay, positive close to the red section. I think I need a magnifying glass here. Okay, it's solid. Not the black one first, it's harder to get to. Luckily the red wire is silicon wire, so it doesn't melt when I touch it with the soldering iron. Yeah, which is the top. This is the top. I think I will switch cameras because you can't see nothing. Just in case. Okay. So the positive one is going to go in here, so we say. And the negative one, I've got to turn that light off or you can't see nothing, can you? No, it's hopeless. These little cameras are not very good. When it's dim light in here and it still blows it up until it is so bright that you can't see it. In any case, this is how I am planning to have it. I'll take this piece of paper here. Pencil. Actually 1.7 and 3.5. So this is negative and that one's positive. And you're going to be one, two, three, four, five, six. This is where the LEDs are going to lay. Double check. Yep, that's correct. So you can actually snip this off right there. And for the first one, I think we'll just remove the shielding altogether. This is very fine wire, so I have to use these little strippers. They're the only ones that work on that fine wire that I have. Okay, so this one is the positive one. That one is the negative one. And we can go and solder it up. This one's going to be right at the end. Okay. Gloves on, I can't pick up the wire. Okay, that's one done. Now I will continue to do all 6 of them because this is going to be a little bit boring to watch for a while, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got these soldered up. I tape down these things onto the sheet here so that they are the right distance apart. So I can take the tape off now. And now I should be able to put them into this box here. That's roughly how it is going to go. And I'm going to use some hot glue from this hot glue gun when it is heated up. And it's going to be a bit awkward to do that under the camera because I can't arrange it very well, so I'm going to do that off camera for a second. Okay, that's done. Put some little blobs of hot glue in there to hold it in there for now. And now we need to glue these little strips in place. With these little foam backed pieces of tape. One. Just clean off these tweezers. Two. Okay, so I'm gonna stick all these guys down, and I'll just pause for a second because that's gonna be boring to watch, isn't it? Somehow the camera got moved over. Anyway, I've got them stuck down in there. So now we can go and try to mount this part of it and plug in the things and see where we're at. Okay. Got to plug in these little wires here. That's one. I'll get some pliers to do that. Go over here. It's two. Okay. Well, let's plug it in and have a look what happens. Oh, that's what happens. Nothing happens. I guess I'll have to do some fault finding. Okay, so when I plugged it first in, it wasn't working, and then I worked out that the power supply was actually telling me that it was drawing too much current, and I checked out the circuit was fine, and then I found out that those little light strips had this aluminum metal strip bent around them, and as you can see, there is on the top of them there is two little soldered connections which connect to those little wires right at the edge there, and one of them, I think it was actually the one on the end here, the metal was actually short-circuiting the little soldered connections there. So I removed all those stupid little metal strips. I don't need them anyway. I guess they're little accent things because they were meant for cars. In any case, it is working fine. This is obviously so now that's the lowest power that it can have. It looks brighter on the camera than it does in real life, but it's just kind of it'll demonstrate what we have to do now. So I actually dismantled a LED TV recently that had failed, and the LEDs in there had failed, and it was a very cheap TV and it wasn't worth fixing. But the TVs have these filters in there. This is what we're going to be using. So, and it has several filters. Let me see now. I think this is go that way. Yes, it's better. It's not quite 100% square, I think. I will probably fit these a tiny little bit better when I have time. So that's one filter, and then you put, I don't know if these things are polarized, I don't think so, but when you put these filters in the right way, let me see now. Yeah, you can kind of see it's sort of like a... Let me pull this one up and experiment a little bit with that. Let's turn the brightness up a little bit. I think we're getting there now, see? These filters are different. Okay, that's one. And I'll put this one on. Is that the same? Yeah, same. Okay, so that's two layers of those filters. You can see the light is being diffused, and then it has this strange plastic mat thing that goes on the top. There we are. Actually, there's no dust in there. And then I've got another sheet. I went to the workshop, and by sheer coincidence I found I had a sheet of perspex there, which I cut in half, and that was exactly the right size. So I think I've got to file it down just a little bit to make it fit a little bit better, but I can do that. Let me see if it fits better the other way. Yes, I think it fits a little bit better that way. So this is our light box. Now as I turn it up, to me it's pure white and bright, but on the camera now it is making everything dark around. It looks blue, but it's not really. And then we have the other setting here, which is the brightest that it goes. And now it is white. And this is with the pulse width modulation module in place. So I can actually turn it off with that as well, and then bring it up with, you know, just a little light and make it brighter and brighter. So this is how it'll work as a light box. But now I'm going to put it on the tripod and see how it works as a light for... Here I've got it set up as a video light. So here I've got a little circuit board, and the microscope has got like a ring light on it, but it always causes glare, and quite often you can't even read the text on the little chips. And one of the motivating factors was here to make up this light here, and you will see because of the filters on there, the light, it is actually much better. There's no glare now, and you can even read the. I haven't even got this thing focused all that well, I don't think. Let me see if I can. You can even read the letters, the writing on the chips, and so when I'm doing videos and I have to do some work on PCBs, that's where I can use this light for, to actually shine that specially filtered light on them. I haven't even got it in a great position right now, but you can already see the use of it. And the microscope isn't actually very well adjusted. In any case, you see how it works. And I can even use a little bit of light from both sources and so on. And I can make this brighter. Yeah, it's actually much better. Filtered light like through those. Okay, so I've had this thing burn in for a few hours to make sure that it is all working. And I'm quite pleased with the result. I mounted a few little screws in the corners here to make sure that the acrylic doesn't fall out, and the filters and so on. So I can turn up the brightness, and I've got, it's hard to see on the camera because the camera adjusts itself according to how much light it perceives is there, but this is on low power, and then I can switch it to maximum power when I'm using it as a studio light. I have already verified, as you have seen, that it works with well with the microscope. So I will, in that case, I can put it on my desk here in a tripod and actually light up the area, and not use the useless little ring light that comes with it that causes a lot of glare. So I think this was a good little project. It cost me all of probably $10 or something in some parts, a little $5 power supply, and I think it was $4 or $5 for the LED strips, and that's really all. Everything else I've recycled from stuff that I had laying around the workshop for ages. Little pieces of metal and some scrap wood and so on. So this is a good project. And you'll probably see it being used when I do some new projects with it needs a PCB. You'll see me using it to line up the negatives for the when we're making PCB with using photoresist and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I've got for now until next project. If any one of you has any ideas for some projects you'd like to actually see, please put it in the comments. I'm looking for some ideas to create some interesting projects for you guys. So until then, bye bye.